Hey everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the typical RC jet engine and comparing that up against a more modern jet engine that's typically found in military jets as well as commercial airliners. If you think anything like me, the typical radio-controlled jet engine that we place into our model airplanes are quite incredible and mind-blowing for the amount of power that we get out of them, for their size, weight, and just overall simplicity. We're going to dive much deeper into this and talk about all the advantages that you get from this engine and compare that up against the disadvantages of the engine, which are actual advantages for the more modern jet engine that's used in those airliners and military jets. Now, in order for me to go and describe all of the major components here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using two models. One model for our radio-controlled jet engines is going to be up there on the screen, and I'm going to be rotating it around and being able to show you sections of the engine that we're going to be speaking about. And for our more modern jet engine, what I have in front of me is a turbofan engine on a stand, and I'm going to be able to use this here to demonstrate all the sections of components that we're going to be talking about in the video here today. Now, I do have to send a huge thank you out to Engine DIY for sending me this model engine so that I'm able to use it specifically for this video in order to show all the sections of it. Here's a quick overview of the engine sent by Engine DIY. This here is a model that comes in a box, and all the parts are very nicely packed inside of it. When opening it, you can see all the different parts, and they look like they've been 3D printed as it's advertised and then finished in a nice looking clean orientation. From here, I was able to assemble all of the components to form the different sections of the model engine. And then once I had all those sub-assemblies complete, I was then able to come up with the final assembly in order to get this model engine looking like its final product. And once this model engine kit is assembled, it gives you a really good understanding of all the parts and components that make up a typical modern jet engine, so that you're able to use it for demonstrations or educational purposes, or just a father-son project where you can spend a few hours together assembling this model engine, and you're going to have a very nice showpiece display that you'll end up with. So again, thank you to Engine DIY. I'm going to leave a bunch of links in the description below so you can head over to their website and take a look at this specific model engine. Let's now start off with our comparison by talking about the components that you'll find in each engine type. So whenever I talk about our model engine, the one that is placed into a radio-controlled model, that is going to be a turbojet engine. By definition, a turbojet engine, we're going to get into the details here shortly, but you'll see why it's called a turbojet engine. As opposed to our more modern and typical jet engine, we're going to refer to that from now on as our turbofan engine. So let's compare our turbojet engine versus our turbofan engine. First thing that I want to talk about is the component count between each one of these engines. Here you can see that the components that exist in your typical turbojet engine are very few and far in between. It's a very simple design which allows the total part count to be minimized in order to keep with the idea of simplicity. And when shifting gears and taking a look at our turbofan engine, there is tons of moving parts. There's a lot of complex parts that make up this type of engine, and there's a lot of parts that almost repeat themselves in different sizes in order to make up the different sections of the engine that we're going to be talking about here very shortly. In fact, let's move on to the compressor side of the engine and compare what that looks like. On the RC turbojet engine that we have here, you can see that it has a centrifugal type of compressor. And one thing to note is this is a very common compressor, especially if you have an engine in your car or vehicle that has a turbocharger. It uses the exact same principle in order to build boost for your internal combustion engine. The same principles there are used in our model turbojet in order to compress some air and then send that into the next stage of the combustion process. When comparing the turbojet compressor from our RC model over to the more typical turbofan engine, you can see that here we have axial flow of air as it moves from one side to the other side. And one of the big differences between these types of engines is an axial engine is going to require multiple stages in order to efficiently compress the air. This is much different than a centrifugal compressor. A centrifugal compressor is able to have all of the air being compressed in one stage. This goes back to the component count that we talked about, but it also has a disadvantage when it comes to the actual size. A centrifugal compressor does require a larger diameter because all that air is being diverted towards the outside of the engine, and now you're going to need some passageways that's going to be able to collect that air and then bring it back into the center or more closer to the center of the engine. Where an axial flow type compressor is going to have air moving in one direction, and it's going to be longer in terms of its length and not as large in its diameter. The compressor on our model RC turbojet engine is by far more simple and robust just in its design nature. Now let's move on and talk about the combustion chamber very quickly here between both of these engines. And when it comes down to it, the RC turbojet engine uses a very simple type design, and it's often an annular type of combustion chamber with straightforward type fuel injection. And here you can see where that all occurs. And when you compare that against your modern turbofan engine, you're going to see and find that there's a difference when it comes to complexity in pretty much everything, and that does include our combustion chamber. The combustion chamber of a modern turbofan is very complex with advanced types of fuel injection systems, and oftentimes you could find more than just one combustion chamber or area where there's a combustion zone in order to produce the flame front that burns the fuel and produces the power for this type of engine. The big reason for the differences in what's happening here in the combustion chamber is really designed around the optimization of fuel efficiency, and this also contributes to reducing the overall amount of emissions that's emitted from this engine. When it comes to our RC turbojet engines, we really don't care so much about the actual fuel consumption that we're burning, how much fuel we're burning, and because these engines are obviously very small in nature and they're only often run for several minutes at a time, the amount of emissions that come from them are very, very different, obviously, than your typical modern jet airliner emissions, and that is why it's much more controlled and complicated in that type of engine. Let's move on and talk about the turbine design between these engines. The turbine design in our RC turbojet engine is of an axial flow, and it flows through a single stage wheel, and that is what produces the actual power in order to start the process over again. The turbine component within our turbojet model engine for RCs is right there at the back side of the engine. You could see that it's an axial flow, and it is also only one stage. So not only do you have one stage for your compressor, you also have one stage for the turbine wheel. As for our more modern turbofan engine, you have a bunch of different turbine wheels. You're going to have, very similarly to your compressor, you're going to have different stages of turbine wheels even, where you have your high pressure turbine wheels following immediately after the combustion chamber, and then you get to your low pressure turbine wheels, which is near the back of the engine. And multiple stages are able to capture all of that energy and turn it back into motion to again turn those compressor wheels, which is going to start the process over again, where air comes into the engine, it gets compressed, and then the air mixes with fuel in the combustion chamber through those injectors that we talked about. That gets ignited, producing the exhaust gases. Those exhaust gases are moving in one direction because there's a low pressure side on the turbine wheel, so that flow of gases then exits through those turbine wheels, producing mechanical power that we can recoup later again, and out goes the exhaust gases that help push the airplane forward. And now is a great time to talk about the major difference between both of these engines. We talked about a lot of major differences, but this is by far one of the biggest difference that makes up all kinds of different characteristics of the engine. It affects the sound of the engine, it affects the fuel efficiency, it affects how efficient that the engine is at different types of speeds. Now, typically a turbojet engine excels very well at speeds above the sound barrier, where your typical turbofan engine, especially if it uses a high bypass ratio, which is what we're going to talk about here very shortly, is best used at slower speeds, less than Mach 1, which is the speed of sound. For our radio-controlled turbojet engine, all of the air that enters the front of the engine goes through the core of the engine, which is really passing through the combustion chamber, and then exits through the nozzle. That is the air that pushes the airplane forward. When you compare that against the typical modern turbofan engine, you can see this massive fan at the front of the engine. And here we got one fan, and this is primarily what produces a lot of the thrust for this engine. All of that air travels outside of the core of the engine to help propel the airplane forward. This is a major difference. And typically in your airliner type engine, you could see a bypass ratio. That's the amount of volume of air that goes outside the core to 1. And that 1 unit of air going through the core. For every 1 unit of air that goes through the core on the outside of the engine for your typical airliner is going to be 12 units of air that travels outside, producing the thrust. When it comes to the actual fan component in the turbofan engine versus our radio-controlled turbojet engines, there really is no advantage to the RC guys with the turbojet style engine. We would much appreciate to have the fan component within the engine so that it can help with efficiency. It can reduce the size of the core of the engine, meaning that we can actually run smaller turbines. It will just have a big fan on the front, which would obviously make it larger again in that section or that area of the engine. However, it's going to be burning less fuel. There's going to be less fuel that we have to actually carry on board of the airplane. A lot of these things contribute to many advantages that would definitely be beneficial in the RC world. There you go, guys. Those are the major differences between our model jet engine versus the more modern typical turbofan style engine. When it comes to making power, there's nothing more that blows my mind than the RC model jet engine. Just how simple it is, how strong it is, how much power you can produce, the amount of thrust that you get out of the engine versus the actual weight of these engines, the size of the engine being so small. In fact, many of these style engines are starting to now be used in the last decade on small mini jets that you can fit, 1 or 2 people in. This is really cool to see, and I can't wait to see how this progresses, and maybe even our model jet turbines can increase in technology. Who knows, maybe one day we'll have a fan on the front that helps to increase the amount of efficiency so that we need to take less fuel. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, like the video if you do. Don't forget to hit that sub button so that I can see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next one.